Hey guys, welcome to my video. Buckle up because we are in for the long haul. All right, so today I am going to be unhauling a massive amount of books, and all of these books are going to be available on my Pango. And so I wanted to let you know, one, what I'm getting rid of, and two, that these are available if you would like them. But I have been building up my store, so to say, over the last few months, and I've got a lot here. Now, I have sold a lot. Usually when I finish a book, if I don't like it and I'm ready to sell it, then I just add it to the stacks. I upload it to Pango, and sometimes they go very quickly. I recently sold all of my Tad Williams books. I recently sold all of my Sarah Douglas books, my Karen Miller. There's a lot of those that I sold. Anyway, a lot of books you might not see here because they hit my Pango and immediately sold. But I will try to tell you if there was a correlating book that I already have in the stacks over here. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with the hardback special editions because yes, I am getting rid of a lot of special editions, mainly because I am not the biggest romantasy reader. Yes, I have been on a romantasy kick for quite some time, but I got the Fairy Loot adult fantasy and a lot of them were romantasy. And I just didn't really enjoy a lot of them. That is not the case for this first book. The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramas. You guys might be a little surprised to see that I am unhauling this because this book I absolutely loved. It is the second book that lost me, and I decided at that point that I didn't want to collect the series anymore, and I sold my special edition copy of the second book, but I have yet to sell this one. And this is a very enemies to lovers, politically driven story. And I really enjoyed, like I said, the first book. There was a lot of political intrigue. There was a lot of great banter. There was a great backstory between our main characters. And I enjoyed delving through all of that. I liked the political landscape that we were setting up in this book, but then the second book happened and I don't want to talk about it. I didn't enjoy it quite as much. So I will be unhauling this one. Next is one that I didn't hate, but didn't love it either. And if you know me at all, you know cozy fantasy, that is just not my thing. I have, however, figured out cozy horror is something that I do enjoy. I didn't even realize that was a thing. Anyway, that is beside the point. The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields. Yes, this was cute. Yes, this was an intriguing read. No, I don't need to keep it because I didn't love it quite as much as everybody else did because it's cozy. Again, for one that I actually enjoyed, Forged by Blood. I cannot say that last name and I totally apologize for that. Or that name, not just the last name. I enjoyed this when I read it. Has it stuck with me? No. I remember that this girl, she has magical powers. She's not supposed to have magical powers. And the powers that be come to take her family and she kidnaps the prince. That's all I remember. And I enjoyed it when I read it. And I think I will probably pick up the second book, but I don't need this special edition copy. I just don't. It's not a favorite of mine. And so why hold on to this? I won't keep it even if I do read the second book. So then a book that just didn't work for me. I started reading it and I'm not the biggest fan of like magical realism, but I didn't like the way it was done in this book. And I just said, I'm not the biggest fan of magical realism. So The City of Stardust by Georgia Summers. I will be unhauling this one as well. Mostly unread because I did DNF this one, but I don't need to keep a book I DNF'd no matter how pretty it is. And then a throwback here, we have Only a Monster by Vanessa Lynn. This is an Owlcrate book that I've had for a really long time. Honestly, I don't remember it. I don't remember this book. I know I read it, but I don't remember it. I might have DNF'd it. That might be why I'm not remembering it very much at all. But just, no, didn't care for it. And then one of the biggest disappointments for me has to be Evocation. I love A Dowry of Blood. And Evocation just didn't have that same writing style. It didn't evoke any of the emotion that A Dowry of Blood did. I expected something very different going into this because I had read A Dowry of Blood. And it didn't deliver. It just didn't. I know there are some people who love this book and some people who hate this book. I'm kind of mid on this book, but I hate the polyamorous discussion in this book. So I'm never going to reread it. I'm not going to continue with the series. That's all there is to it. I do have a few more special editions coming up, but the way the books are stacked, I'm just going to go in order. Departure by A.G. Riddle. You guys have probably seen this come up on my channel because I've owned this book for a really long time. I was wanting to read it. I do believe this was on a Read or Unhaul or Self-Destructing Books at one point, and I decided I was going to hold on to it because I really, really wanted to read it. Well, here we are a year later. I still haven't read it, so I am going to get rid of it. The next two were complete disappointments for me. The first being The Unspoken Name by A.K. Larkwood. Everything about this I should have liked. Priestess, Assassin, Traitor. If you guys know me, those are three very big buzzwords for me in fantasy. And so I was very excited to get to this. I'm back to, I don't remember anything about this book. I know I DNF'd it. And I DNF'd it early on because the writing style just didn't work for me. I had been told that this was going to be too slow. I had been told that I wasn't going to like the writing, and everyone was right. I maybe should have listened. Oh, and you know, this is another one. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant with this one because I talk to so many people who refuse to read YA, and then they read Trust of the Emerald Sea, they read Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, and this book, and they love it. Godblind by Anna Stevens. I think you're lying. I think you get it in your head that it's young and you're not going to like it, and you convince yourself that you're not going to like it, because if you like these books, Godblind, Trust, Yumi, you like young adult. That's the only thing I can say about that, because this is YA that has enough gore and enough horror in it to maybe bump itself into the adult stratosphere, but no. This book read so young, the characters read so young that I just couldn't get past it. And there were a couple of character moments that I was like, what are you doing? What just happened? Like, why are you acting like that? Are you an adult? Because you're acting like a child. And so, not for me, not for me. All right, and here's another magical realism biting the dust. The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. I've just come to realize that I don't like magical realism. I never have. It took me a long time to figure it out. But in reading this and hearing all of the love that it was getting, I was like, maybe I just don't like magical realism. And I think that's the case. I think that any magical realism that comes across my radar, please tell me, because if I tell you I want to read it, or if I say that I'm interested in it, please tell me if there's magical realism, because I tend not to like it. I can't think of a single magical realism book that I have liked. So, yeah, that's why this one is biting the dust. The next two, I did a vlog a little while ago, reading YA, doing some first chapters and things like that. And I have read quite a few of those books that I decided to keep. Now, there are two here that I'm going to go ahead and get rid of. And it's because I haven't felt drawn to them. Now, like I said, there are some of those that I read and I enjoyed. There are some that I read and didn't like. There are some that I immediately unhauled in that video. But My Lady Jane, I just don't think I'm here anymore. Like, I really like historical fiction. I just don't think that I want historical fiction from a YA standpoint and done in this cheeky way, because I have read and really enjoyed Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. I have something in that vein, and I don't think I need more. And so I'm going to go ahead and unhaul this one. Also, this time I prepared. Look at me. Right, the other book that was in that video is Three Dark Crowns by Kinder Blake. Now, I have been told that I would really like this one, which is why I held on to it. And I did read a few chapters of this in that video, or a chapter, and then I continued on because it was intriguing. I don't like the writing style. And that's all I can say, because I didn't get very far, but this writing style just doesn't work for me. I know that it's a little bit of a darker story. I know we have 3 women going for the crown, and I like the concept, but the writing style, I don't know what about it didn't work for me. It didn't. Oh, okay. And the book that actually made me mad. If you've seen my mid-year check-in, you will know I didn't like this book. You will know it was my most disappointing book of the year, and that would be The Night Ends with Fire by KX Song. I don't understand a character motivated by greed. I just don't. I don't understand narcissistic characters. They don't resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. And so the fact that the main character in this book was motivated by greed, it didn't land with me at all. I had the hardest time trying to like this character. And then the ending killed it. I absolutely hated it at that point. So I gave this book like 2.5 stars. Now it does have like a 3.7 on Goodreads or something like that. So don't take my word for it. Just know that those are types of characters that I absolutely can't get behind. And so I really hated this. I did give it 2.5 stars though, because I did think the writing was pretty good. And I finished it, if that says anything. Okay, next is Miracle Creek by Angie Kim. I know nothing about this because this is not my book. My mother-in-law recently moved in with us, and a lot of her books filtered to me because she doesn't have anywhere to put them, so they ended up on my shelves. And this is one she read and said, I don't need to keep it. And so she gave it to me to put in my Pango shop. And so I know nothing about it, but it is in my Pango shop. Okay, I do believe this is my last special edition. I know I have like maybe another Alcrate or something in there, but of the sprayed edge variety. Guys, I didn't like Swordcatcher. I really didn't like Swordcatcher. This was so slow and so character driven, and I don't like those kinds of books, and I don't think I ever will. I know I do have some, like you can see my Robin Hobb back here, that do end up working for me, but this one just, it didn't. I didn't like it. I have a few books that I'm going to talk about in tandem here because they all go together. It's part of a series. So I have PC Cast's Goddess series. This is one that I read a long time ago. PC Cast is an author from Tulsa, so I did try to pick her up for that reason. I've actually met her. I worked at Borders whenever back in the day, and she came in there a lot. So I ended up reading her books. I really like these. These are decent romance books. They are romantasy. They are romantasy before romantasy existed. And I liked them. I really enjoyed every single one of these. A lot of these are autographed, but it's not a series I'm going to revisit. It is not the type of romantasy that I read now. These are light erotica almost. And I have learned that I'm a 3 chili pepper person. I do like some of the smuttier stuff sometimes, but not all the time. And I don't think that these are like smut heavy, but they're kind of short. And I like really in-depth romantasy now. And so it doesn't fit what I currently read. And I'm going to go ahead and see if someone else would like to have them. Next, we have Library of the Dead by T.L. Huchu. I believe that's how you say that. I just didn't like this one. And it had nothing to do with the writing. It had to do with being written in the vernacular. And that's something that I really don't like. I never have, even whenever I was getting my English degree. Doing American literature written in the vernacular, oh, that I hated it. I hated that. And I have read a couple others that have been written in the vernacular, and I don't care if your character speaks that way. I really don't. But writing the entire book like that, it bugs me. It really bugs me. And so I couldn't get into this one. Now one that has been waffling on the TBR for a while. I want to read it. Maybe. I keep thinking I want to read it, but then I look at the length of it and I'm like, do I want to read it? It's actually not as long as it looks, but I've heard I'm really not going to like it. There have been quite a few people who have reached out to me every time this comes up in a video, and they say, you're not going to like it. Not at all. This is so slow and so character driven. There's no way. And so I figure at this point, since I haven't read it, I'm just going to unhaul it and trust that everyone who's told me I won't like it is right. And that is Upon a Burning Throne by Ashok K. Banker. Now, I really wanted to get into this. Like I said, this has some elements to it that I do think I would really enjoy. But with the things that everyone's told me, I don't think that they are going to outweigh the things that I don't like. I think we're going to have another City of Brass thing on our hands there. That's what I'm getting at. Okay. I do have 2 more Alcrate books I thought I was going to come across. So we have Lake's Edge by Lyndall Clipstone. I actually really enjoyed this one. I don't think it's anything great, but I do like the fantasy in this. I do like the world that was created. I even kind of liked the characters, but it's not a series that I see myself continuing. This is not a story that I would go back to, but it was decent. I enjoyed my time with it. So I am kind of interested in Lyndall Clipstone's new release. I can't think of the name of it. I'll maybe insert a clip because I have been trying to get the arc of it. But I think this one I think that the new one sounds really good. And the fact that I actually liked this one, even though I didn't love it, it's not a new favorite or anything like that. I want to see what Lyndall has done since this book. I want to see if the writing has been elevated. I want to see where the story goes, all that stuff. So, and then I have The Ivory Key by Shaya Rahman. I'm sorry, I suck at pronouncing names. I didn't like this one. This one was all over the place plot wise. Didn't really get to know any of the characters in any way. And I just ended up putting it down and not caring at one point. This was in a vlog of mine. This and Lake's Edge, I believe, might have even been in the same vlog. But I just didn't care for it. It didn't work for me. And I ended up DNFing it. So if that tells you anything. Okay. And then I have Trudy Canavan's Thief's Magic. Now, the reason that I am getting rid of this, I don't know if I showed it in a haul or not, but I was able to find a lot of Trudy Canavan's in mass market paperback. And it took me a long time to collect the hardbacks that I had of them. They're not favorites of mine though, so I didn't need them taking up this much space. And so they're all kind of just stacked together in one stack now, as opposed to taking up an entire shelf. So that's the reason I am getting rid of this one. Okay, now this one I loved. Listen for the Lie by Amy Tantera. I really, really enjoyed this one. This is a thriller though, and I know the ending. This is not one I'm going to reread. The intrigue was so good in this story though, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I'm hoping that whoever finds this will love it just as much as I did, but I'm not going to reread it, so I don't need to hold on to it. Okay, and then I have two. I feel really bad about this because my sister got these for me, but I haven't read the Black Dagger Brotherhood in a really, really long time. However, my sister did know that these were books that I did like, and these are really, really far into the series, and they are a spin-off series called Prison Camp. So I don't know if I've caught up enough to read these, but I have J.R. Ward's The Jackal and the Wolf. Now, like I said, I could be unhauling these prematurely, and I do want to apologize to my sister because she's the one that got them for me, but I haven't read the Black Dagger Brotherhood all the way through. So I don't know when I would get to these. The Black Dagger Brotherhood is not something that I reach for anymore. It's a paranormal romance series that I do really love. I just haven't been intrigued by paranormal romance in quite some time. So I am going to go ahead and unhaul those. Then I have E.E. Knight's Dragon Champion. I have all 3 books. These I just lost interest in. Now, I've tried to put them on TBR's past, but just couldn't talk myself into reading them. They are from a dragon's POV, so I do think it would be kind of cool to read. I don't know. I haven't gravitated towards it. And since I own the trilogy, I'm going to go ahead and see if someone else wants it. I do still have one Karen Miller left, and that is A Blight of Mages. This is a prequel to, I believe, The God Speaker. It says set in the world of the Innocent Mage. So whatever the Innocent Mage is, Kingmaker, Kingbreaker. I have gotten rid of the rest of my Karen Miller because I've had these for a really, really long time and have not gravitated towards them. And I do have a tendency to like female authors more than male authors, but I don't know. There's just something about this that hasn't called to me, even though I bought the entire series. I have recently unhauled that, and a friend decided they needed all of my 90s female fantasy. I have to adjust. I've been sitting here talking for 30 minutes. All right, next we have Darkwater Daughter. Now, I enjoyed this when I read it. Was it a 5-star? No, it was like a 3.5, maybe. This one though, I really like H.M. Long's first couple of books. However, since reading those first couple of books, I have found that she does like to meander in her stories, and I don't like meandering. It's the entire reason that I don't like Stephen King. And so whenever I read this, I was like, ooh, plot, wait, where'd the plot go? Ooh, plot, oh wait, where did the plot go? So I kept doing that the entire time that I was reading it, and for that reason, I'm going to DNF this series. Now, I only own the first book, but I am not going to continue. Next is another series that I have decided to DNF, and it makes no sense if you know that I really enjoyed this first book, but I don't think it's the type of fantasy that I really like. The Amber Blade by Chris Wooding. This was really good, guys. It was really good, and I enjoyed my time while I was reading it, but I have had zero desire to pick up the follow-up book. I haven't even bought it. I have just kind of let everything else take priority, and but I did give this 4 stars. I think I might have even given it 4.5 stars. I do like that this seems to be Lord of the Rings for the modern age. I do like Lord of the Rings, the movies, not the books. I do not like Tolkien's writing. So that's the entire reason I picked this up, because I was like, oh, if it's Lord of the Rings for the modern age, maybe I will like it. And like I said, I did. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 stars, but I just have had no desire to continue. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a wash. Okay, Blackfish City. I didn't like this one. And there were too many characters. This is a very short book. There didn't need to be that many characters. There didn't need to be that many POVs. And that is something that always bugs me. And so I just didn't like it. Next is a book I absolutely love, and that is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. So why am I unhauling it? I bought the hardback. Aardvark offered a hardback edition of Bride, and I couldn't pass it up because all of the rest of my Allies are hardback. So I decided I needed a hardback of Bride, and I'm hoping that Aardvark will also have a hardback copy of Mated. Isn't that the new one that's coming out? And that way all of my Allies can still remain hardback. I do plan to read the summer romance one, but I'm not going to pick it up unless I can find a hardback of it. I'm just going to do it on Libby because I don't like having to purchase and repurchase books all the time. So, but yeah, that's why I'm getting rid of Bride. Persephone Station. I wanted to love this so much. We had a buddy read of it on my Patreon. There were a couple of people whenever I posted this saying, oh my gosh, that's been on my TBR for so long. I hope that you really enjoy it and can give me a heads up whether or not I'm going to like it. Oh, this was bad. This was bad. The writing was bad. The characters were not great. The plot was non-existent. And the comparisons to The Mandalorian, I didn't really see. I really don't get where people are getting Mandalorian from with this one. Other than, you know, like the setup of where they live. That's the only thing I can get Mandalorian from this. Anyway, I really, really didn't like this. And I will confess that nobody else that read it with me liked it either. So, sad day, sad day. Hair that is trying to attack me. Oh, next is one that I actually really loved. And the reason I am unhauling it is because it is such a big book. It takes up so much room on my shelves, and I'm not likely to reread it. That is The Fireman by Joe Hill. Now, like I said, I really, really like this one. Does it get a little convoluted in places? Yes. Is Joe Hill kind of wordy in this one? Yes. I don't think he's nearly as wordy as his dad, though. Not nearly. And I definitely liked that there were characters in here that were going through some severe trauma, and we got to go through it with them and watch them as they either heal or succumb to their insanity. And so I just really enjoyed this one. Now, it was like a 4-star, I believe, 4.5. It wasn't like my favorite, and I may have even bumped it to 5-star on Goodreads, but I just enjoyed this. But it is so big. I had to take it off, especially since it was taking up a lot of room on my horror shelf, and we are going to have to do some rearranging. If you can see behind me, there's a lot of horror on here. Those are going to eventually have to go onto the shelves once I read them. So, all right, let's talk about the other book. Now, I have kept some Joe Hill. They're not the only Joe Hill books that I owned, but Nosferatu, I did not like this one. This is so reminiscent of Stephen King. I don't like Stephen King, and so I felt like maybe Daddy had a little bit to do with this one. I just didn't like it. I don't like Stephen King's writing. I think he's too wordy. I think he gets a little excessive in places, and nope. So I didn't like that one. Then we have Siren Queen by Ning Vo, and I have come to the conclusion that I'm probably not going to like Ning Vo's writing. It's probably going to be a little too flowery for me. And from what I understand, we have another magical realism. So I did pull this off the shelves whenever I realized that it was going to be magical realism. I don't know. There's just something about it that I don't like. I love fantasy. I have gotten to where I like some contemporaries, but you mix the two, or historical fiction for that matter. You mix the two and I just tend not to like it. And I can't tell you why. No clue. All right, then we have Burntown by Jennifer McMahon. I am unhauling this unread because I have owned it for years and haven't read it. That's the entire reason. I haven't been drawn to it. I did like The Winter People. I did like Promise Not to Tell. But I haven't read anything else by Jennifer McMahon. And I think part of it is because I don't trust her endings. I like the book until it ends, and then I don't feel like we get a good resolution. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this one. Now, another one that I really, really enjoyed. In fact, I think I gave this one 4.5 stars. Sleep Tight by J.H. Marquardt. Now, this one is about a serial killer who seems to be well and alive after his execution. So I did like the intrigue of this. I did like our main character, and I really liked the way that the story wrapped up. It was creepy. It was, I wouldn't say it was scary, but it had a lot of tension to build up in the story, and it did a good job of it. So I really liked it, but it's not one I'm going to reread. It's not one that I feel like I need to keep on my shelves. And so that's the only reason I'm getting rid of it. Another that is biting the dust due to the fact that everyone tells me I'm going to hate it. And I'm getting rid of it for that reason, but also because I don't have a good track record with this author. And that is Empire in Black and Gold by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I have not really enjoyed a single book of his that I have read, and I just don't think he's the author for me, and that's fine. That's totally fine. It is the first book in Shadows of the Apt, and I had planned to read it, but like I said, I haven't had a good track record. Everybody tells me I'm not going to like it, so I'm just going to go ahead and unhaul it. Okay, these next 4, which is 2 duologies, I'm going to get rid of because I needed more room on my YA shelves, and I had to make some decisions. And if you guys know, The Other Side of the Sky by Megan Spooner, I loved. I gave this 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. And then an amnesia trope happened in this one, and it kind of killed my love for this duology. I really wish that that's not the way it would have gone. I did like the way it ended, but to go from a 5-star to a 3-star, I'm not going to keep these because I'm not going to reread it because I don't like how it ends, or I don't like the trope. I like the ending of this book, but I don't like the way we got there. I guess that's what I should say. And then another one that I really enjoyed, these were 4 stars for me, All the Stars and Teeth, All the Tides of Fate. I feel like this story was left unfinished. That is my main thing with this. I think we needed a wrap-up book. We didn't get a full wrap-up in this one, so I don't think having it as a duology served it well, because this one felt a little rushed, and it could have been 3. It could have been 3, and it could have been great. But I really loved All the Stars and Teeth. This one got romance focused, and I didn't like that quite as much because this one was very political, and I liked the political atmosphere of this YA. So I'm going to go ahead and let go of these as well. That is it for my video today. Like, subscribe, do all the fun things, and I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget, these are also on my Pingo shop.